test. That's loud, huh? I don't know how to control that. Hold on, let me check. Test. Okay. Just don't talk loud. Got it. To replace the NTCs. Hello, is it possible to replace the NTC temperature sensor with the PT100 or... Yeah, you can. You have to get the max... Well, it's not a simple plug and play, obviously. Turn this down. So I got both here. So this is connected. This is a... Nope, that's not it. So this one is connected to a max, a PT100. So max amplifier is 31865 to PT100 and ESP32. So this goes to Hibean and Artisan. So you can, it's totally possible. The code's out there on the GitHub if you look for it. You might have to. You're gonna have to do some research, like understand where to connect it onto here. Like I did it like this. But there's different ways of connecting these max amplifiers to this ESP32 S3. It's totally possible. I actually have one that was running just with a thermocouple and a PT100 K-type. We have a few examples on the Discord where someone ran the PT100 and thermocouple without issue. Yeah, you just have to get the code or the firmware for it, which is online, either on Discord. You might have it. I don't know if we have bin files for them. You're gonna have to look at the sketch and kind of adjust some of the parts. To buy a ready-made circuit? Depends on where you're at. If you're in the US, I have, I can mock one up for you. But, yeah. Or if you know someone who knows anything about electronics, it's fairly easy to hook these up. But if you're in the US, I can mock you up one. Just send me a message. It might take me a bit, but you still have to install it yourself. I do have the custom-made temperature probes. The thing about it is you have to buy like a whole crap load of them, but they're made to spec just like the NTC probe. But instead of buying one for 50, and you could get 50 for 100, so or something cheap like that. Oh, here's my thermocouple one. Yeah, they're all set and ready to go, kind of. This one has to be plugged in better, and this is just a simple 2-wire thermocouple, K-type. And these are just, this is a PT100 next to it. Nope, that's a thermocouple, it's 2-wire. And I think I made the fancier version where it's a 4-wire PT100. It's supposed to be more accurate, but you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be that great. Let me hook onto Discord. Gotta get my Discord peeps. Start virtual camera. There we go. Hello. Okay. All right. All right. So today's agenda, we're going to be, I got to get this roaster running and to send it to someone. So I'm going to do a roast with it. I think I have a bad batch of ESP32s. So I am going to use Will's fancy schmancy Hibean module. So I'm going to give this a shot. You could buy this module for your unit for like, I think like $50 or $60. I forget how much it costs. Hold on. Let me get the price. But we'll hook that up. And then I'll do a roast with it. And then I got Airwave on, so I've been seeing how well it does filtering out all the bad volatile stuff that comes out of this roaster. And I'm in an enclosed garage right now, so it's very detrimental to my health if I keep roasting like this. So right now I'm on AliExpress. I'm just gonna look this up. Hibean Module. $41 for this module. Not bad if you don't want to set up all this stuff on a ESP32S3, even though it's really easy. But some people are not a fan of bare circuits, like bare PCBs. And that kind of freaks them out if they don't have something to contain it in, and they don't have a 3D printer, and blah, yada, yada. So you can buy one of these, save you the headache, and this will connect automatically, or the community version, which is the other version, may have some issues, or yeah, they still have issues with the community version. Where most of the stuff with this version is okay. I think it still has issues with Mac, but I'm not sure I'm not too sure. All right. So anyways, we'll go ahead and we're gonna plug this in. I'm gonna pop up Hibean. Let me turn it on. There we go. All right. So this is kind of what the Hibean map looks like. Let me delete this. Let's get us a fresh start. So Hibean has this great app. If you're confused with Artisan, or if you're new and you want to try something new, a lot easier to set up. And you could get something like Hibean module, and you just download an app. And I think it works with Mac now too, so I'm going to try testing that out too. So just directly connected with Mac, I think it works. I think. Now I'm not sure. But we'll see. Anyways. So right now, we'll go through the list of roasters that are on here. It's the module mode. So what you're going to do is you want to add a roaster. We'll go through it. But these are all the options you have. They have a lot of these Boo, their own personal Hibean ARC modules that I'll be putting in other units later, like a Sweet Maria Air Popper. I'll be doing that just to have Hibean on there. They also work with HBs. I don't know what those are. That's a new one, the Peak Edmond. That's interesting. And then it connects to all the Kaleidos. So from M1 to M10. Shmola, the S5, which I have down there. And you got our Skywalker. They haven't put a picture up for the Delta or V2 yet, but I don't know what they're going to do with that. Sandbox, that's pretty cool. And the Sandtokers. Nice little lineup. And then there's your regular old TC4 module. If you have the old Shield, you can hook it up to that. Anyways, we're going to hook it up to ours. So we are the Skywalker. And now there's two versions you'll see. You'll have, you'll see this version where it says, what's it called? It says Skywalker HB. Then you'll have the other version that says community. So that's the community developed on Discord with the help of people like Albert, Remix. All those people kind of help with this development. And No Name, I think it's his name, or No Face. There's also No Face who helped with the development of the firmware for the community. But we are going to use theirs, which is HB, so the Hibean version. Nice thing about that is they have their own supports OTA, and this actually gives money towards the Hibean development team, which is kind of nice because they can't be doing this for free. So we'll click on that one, or tap that one. Oh, you know, I plugged in. I plugged in the wrong one. I'll wait till it scans for it. Let me go back. Checking to see if this is plugged in. Should be powered. Oh, maybe I already have it hooked up onto this. Hold on. That's probably what it is. Let me delete all these versions. That's probably it right here. So let me unplug this real quick. I gotta make sure I delete all the versions because I put it on here so many times. All right, so we'll back to it. So we'll hit the plus sign. We'll find the Skywalker. I'm gonna plug this in, give that a second. So we're looking for the HB version, so I'm gonna hit that. And then it should say something like Hibean new, there you go, NUS. So we're gonna add that. Okay, hit complete. So that looks good. I could hear the fan going on that one. Drum goes on that one. Good. So when it comes to Hibean, you might run into issues like there's a delay. Like if you were to hit drum and it takes like more than like a second to turn on, you're running into some lag. So you have to restart the whole unit, which is basically plug and unplug, right? So unplug it for like 30 seconds, then plug it back in, reconnect. And then because the lag shouldn't be horrible. Like I should be able to press it, maybe a second goes by and it turns back on. So if I do this, I hit the drum button, 1 second, it should turn on. Sometimes people are complaining like, oh, it's laggy and all that kind of things like that, but it's essentially just the connection. The BLE connection sometimes is kind of wonky, and that's for mostly the community version. The HB version, I don't think has that issue. Very accurate. It's 28.698.745 decimal. So let's go ahead and we're going to complete. We're going to go to device. So here you can either do manual or auto roasting if you want to follow a curve you did before. Or we're going to do some manual roasting, and I'm going to see if I could switch this off. When you first start, this will be blank. So you can either Switch it out, replace the logs when you start making more roasts. Like if you say you want to replace the log, you go to replace log, and then you could find a reference curve, or you could use switch, confirm, good. You could just switch the whole or default profile. Can't remember if I did that one. And you can run through the list of the roasts that you've done. And it kind of gets up this log of like all your roasts that you've done. But one of the first things you have to do is kind of, there's a section where you have to like start off your profile. So you make a new profile. And say you're going to you have to usually make a custom profile. And then put you could select the reference curve if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to hit default profile, make a name. Let's pick out the bean we're going to use first. In terms of the bean we're going to use, I have a lot. In Ethiopia, dry process Guji Tuki. Impressive interplay of complex fruits, delicate aromatics. Great. Notes of blueberry, blackberry, have juicy brightness, accented flavors of melon, cascara, hints of rosewater, and fresh herbs. Sounds like it's due up for maybe a lighter roast. We'll see. This is just a test roast because I don't know if this unit will completely work. It had its issues where I don't know if it was my my ESP32 batch was bad or the unit, but we're gonna see because this Hibean unit should be good to go. Anyways, let's go put all the information in. I'm gonna connect it through here. So profile name, we'll call this Ethiopia Sweetness. Come up with any name you want. I'm gonna leave the reference curve alone. You can put your predictions in. There's automation. There's all that fancy stuff you can get into the thick of it later. But these are the kind of values that we find, like where the dry end's going to be and the first crack's going to be for the Skywalker. And this is with the NTC probe. If you put a thermocouple in, it actually goes up a little bit higher when first crack occurs. And it's literally all about probe, what kind of probe it is, and probe placement all gets into the factors of roasting, your roasting temperatures, hitting those milestones. If someone tells you the probe is wrong because it's hitting first crack at 185 and they're used to having first crack at 195 plus or something, okay, that's fine. I mean, great. So you just keep roasting like whenever first cracks come for you with this unit. So what I'm just trying to say is if first crack comes at 185, 188, it's still good. It's the only thing that matters, honestly, is does that same bean, does that first crack reoccur at that same temperature? And with the Skywalker, with the Q bean, with the 1 kilogram machine, yes, it does. And that's all that kind of really matters. I'm not into the whole deal of trying to force a roaster to be first crack exactly at this point. You're using it as a guide, not forcing a roast how it should be, that you think it should be. So yeah. So don't think like it's not reaching the temperatures that Sweet Maria says it should be reaching for first crack. Doesn't really matter. First crack's going to come at whatever temperature that the probe detects it at. if anyone tells you otherwise, just say okay. So we'll go to device. So no reference curve is set. We'll start off with a reference curve. We'll make one, right? So we'll start manual roasting. So we'll hit start preheating. I think their preheat works. I don't know what version of ours is on, but I think some of the firmwares work and some of them don't. I don't know. I haven't updated the GitHub in a bit, and I really need to do that. So what you want to do is turn the drum on, turn the fan on. I like it at the low 30s, but 60's fine, 65's fine. I'm also running Airwave, so that's another whole other deal. But I still am trying to figure out how to make sure it's not affecting the roast as much as it should be. I'm gonna make sure the cooling fan works. Good. All right. So now we're gonna wait for the preheat. If this is your first time roasting on maybe your V1 or your V2, you want to do you can do a seasoning roast. I mean, I don't think you have to, because they technically run a roast before. Well, they're supposed to be running a roast. I get a lot of reports that some of them are coming with green beans. I think they're literally just putting the beans in before they ship them and making sure that the lamp turns on and the drum rotates and all the fans turn on. So like a really bare bones QC. Where beforehand, they used to do full roast, where I'd find like a roasted bean inside. But I think now that they're a little bit more popular, they want them out faster, so they don't do a full roast anymore. So if you're worried about the factory oils and all that kind of stuff, preheat it, wait like 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, you can either roast the beans you want to roast, or buy really shitty beans, which we also call seasoning beans, put those in, and that kind of, some people see it as a way of absorbing all those oils or burning out everything at the same time, making it good for the next roast. But I used to tell people you don't have to season it, but now that they're kind of pushing these roasters out a little bit faster and they're not actually doing a QC roast before, because I guess it is a lot of beans, then I would say just first run, I would say get some seasoning beans, and it doesn't hurt. But in the end, you can use the seasoning beans. They still work as regular beans. You're still gonna hear a first crack. You're gonna see all the milestones happen. They're just beans that aren't, great. They're usually just shittier beans, or a blend of random beans at the end that Captain's has, and you can try them. It's always fun to try them. But you don't necessarily have to don't be putting your geishas in on your first roast, Don't be trying to be fancy and putting your pink bourbon or whatever the hell they're called. That shouldn't be your first roast, to be honest. But yeah, what you want to do is let it preheat. For me, I usually let it preheat for 5 minutes. And when I say preheat, I mean reach the temperature, the target temperature. So ours is going to be 200. And I'll let that kind of see how that goes at 200 degrees, and then let it go on for 5 minutes, and then maybe start a roast. Or maybe I'll even hang out there a little bit longer. Who knows? One big thing, always check if your bean chute is open or closed. And just have the habit of pulling this out. Oh, there's a little lip on this. Even the new 1 kilogram machines, they don't even fully seat in all the way. They kind of just have a little gap in between. So if the beans do fall, they'll fall right into the cooling tray. I'm gonna go try lowering the filtration on here. I'm gonna go to 30s, like 30%. So if you notice that the roasting in your drum is sounding like it's scraping, it's more than likely a loose drum. I wonder if this is the one. I'm gonna turn the drum off on this real quick. Now this is the tight one. Your drum shouldn't have any play. If you were to open it up and try to like push it up and down, if it has any kind of wiggle room or play, the 3 bolts in the back are not tightened in. I have a video of that I'm gonna put on a short, just real quick to show people. All right, so it hit 200, so we'll give another 5 minutes to kind of warm up a bit. And you could tell that there is a little bit of like a PID function in terms of like the preheat heater. So it's kind of adjusting itself to stay at 200 degrees Celsius. But I think he still doesn't recommend to use it for roasting. I don't think anyone has a really good established PID system for the V1 yet, other than the Japanese guy. This Japanese guy at Tomokai, he has some fancy setup that like he somehow got the PID down really well. But that also has things like anti-wind up, so it cools off the beans if it overshoots, so it just increases the fan speed. So he's got it down pat. But I think he wants to sell it, so sell the firmware. I'm not a huge fan of selling things. I feel like it should just be free. Free code, not like free me making a ESP32 with the PT100 and sending it to someone. I'll probably charge you for that. Because that's a little labor. It's labor intensive, and it's a lot of going back, and there's different modules and setting the code. It's a kind of a pain, but totally doable if you want to put a PT100 in. Doable, yes. Necessary, maybe. I don't know. All right. So things right now, when I'm refurbish these units, I'll put the new like fan in. I think that's mostly what I do now. And then I add a Hibean unit. And then I'm not too worried about leaks depending on how the vent in the back is set up. Like if the vents are set up to where if it were to drip and go into the board and cause a short circuit, then I'll like press in those vents on one side so it doesn't get the circuit board. But right now they've been sending new units with the proper way of the vent holes where it doesn't capture the oil coming from the roast. So mostly when I refurbish them, I just make sure they run, change out any of the motor, the drum, the lamp, and then make sure a running copy of the firmware, the Sky Command firmware is in there. And I just stopped using Arduino Nano and I switched to ESP32 now because we have the option to use WebSockets for artisan connection, which is kind of nice. I know some people still like the direct serial connection, which is fine. And if you request that, I'll add it in. But I do like the Hibean artisan version better because you could do both. And that whole firmware was developed by the community, so it's not just me who made it, it was everybody. So I like sending that out a little bit more than my own code. That does a pretty good job staying within a degree of 200 degrees Celsius, so that's fine. All right, let's go do something like measure. Let's be useful, measure some beans. Since that's running pretty well, I'm gonna get this started. I don't even know if that's working. Shit. Usually have a little scale thing here. Oh, I lost it. I'm gonna have to get my old scale. So I'm gonna measure my beans. Okay. Stop. No. Come back. There you go. Oops. I'll even put the volume on because I think it has a voice command now, or verse of voices to tell you if you charged or whatever. So, right. Really? Only 316 grams? Are they shysting me? Hold up, hold up. They're usually pretty good about this. Let me put it on top of here. Oh God. Well, I spilled the beans. Oh, these are small. These are gonna get stuck in the drum. These are the beans that people tell me get stuck in the drum. 455, that's what I was looking for, yeah. 456, 455. I'll pay 455. Alright, so we got 455 of this bean. So, let me get my funnel. I haven't used my funnel in a long time. I need to update my funnel too to the new one. This is the old one for the old unit. I put a fancy Skywalker logo on it. Fancy. Yeah, it doesn't work as well. Oh well. Yeah, this one's not gonna work as well as my older. This is for the really old version. I gotta print out the new one. All right, so we're gonna charge this bad boy. Let me move this out the way. All right, here we go. Hit charge. I'll start at 75, fan on 30. So I'm sticking with just changing the heat, all right? So I'm not gonna change airflow. People say you should. I'm gonna, just for the sake of ease, I'm just gonna not change airflow for now. I'm not as advanced as our resident guru Talau. All right, so we're running through the roast. What we're seeing now is we're gonna wait to see when turning point happens. So turning point is basically when the curve goes from a downward trend upwards. That's the point at which it occurs. That's one milestone. There it goes, turning point. Kind of watching, seeing how it goes. Here comes the ROR, which is the yellow curve. That's kind of like your guide. You're going to use that to kind of help dictate your roast. It's how do people say it's the? I always forget the analogy for it, but yeah. You're kind of looking to see where the ROR is going to peak. Sometimes it'll smooth out a bit and then go back up and then smooth and then go spike up again. Looks like it's doing a little downward trend. So around the 4 minute, what are we at? 2 minutes, 3 minute mark. Usually 4 minute mark, I'll drop it. But I've been going earlier recently, so they're dropping the temperature, that is. So now you just kind of want to just slowly, I like to slowly just drop temperature. I feel like it's just easier to control your ROR because you always want a slowly declining curve. It's just to slowly, you only can do it 5 points at a time. You can't do it like 70% or 75%, 74%, 73%. You have to do it like 70%, 75, 70 in fives. One other thing too is also make sure your trier is locked. If you leave your trier upwards, you can have a trier fire. I went up a little bit, so I'm gonna go bring it down. And if you feel like it's moving a little too fast, you can always drop it another, maybe to 60. Surfing a little bit. Kind of note where you're going to pull your trier. When I get around 154, 155, that's when I'll start like pulling the trier to see if we've reached the dry end phase. a little bit of green, so I'm going to give it a maybe another degree or two. What you don't want to see is like a little bit of the pale green. You want to see a good like yellowing. You can smell it too. Oh yeah, that's good. Now I'm going to start just dropping the temperature a little bit just to hang out in this phase. If I wanted to drop a little bit faster, then I'll just drop the heat. You don't want to go slowly. You don't want to drop the heat too fast. You might get what, these flicks or crashes that people complain about. Not all flicks and crashes are issues. Some might be just weird temperature probe things, or when you pull the trier and you see the temperature go up and down. You just got to remember to note that kind of stuff. So we've definitely passed the 8-minute mark. So we're in the 9 minutes. So if we were trying to shoot for that Nordic style roasting, we kind of went over by a lot of. But that's usually like high heat, real fast, light temperature roasting. It's been pretty popular as of recent. So I think what is the most critical part of roasting is when you're trying to hear for first crack. So we're hitting 180. We're probably going to start trying to hear out for it around 185. Now why I think that's important is because I think when you start your first crack, and then that's when you really just start your development time. And then I feel like that's crucial to get the bean color that you want. A lot of roasters say that 80% of the flavor of roasting comes during this time, when most of the flavor is at 80% of the flavor, or something like that. The other 10 or 15 or other 10% is dealing with like lengths that it's in Maillard phase and development time and all that kind of stuff. So the bean color is kind of the big one. I get into the bent position. Ooh, we lost connection. What's going on here? That's a bummer. There's something wrong with this roaster. This is gonna be a really light colored one. Now it's hitting first crack. I don't know what happened there. That's the problem I dealt into last time, is it would just turn off randomly. This might be more board related, and this happened to my other ESP32. So maybe it's not my ESP32. It might be just be the board on this. So we're gonna dump these ones. Actually, I'm gonna try them. I'll probably try them just to see what it tastes like when it doesn't hit first crack. So back to the drawing board on this more roaster. I'll probably do another roast tonight. Yeah. I was working all night trying to figure out what was wrong with this thing. So it's not my ESP32s, then it's the board on this. So I gotta replace the board, and then I'll replace the board, and then I'm gonna replace the power supply is here as well. That sucks, but happens. I guess I'll let it cool off. So replace the board on that one. I have another one I gotta pull out. It was going so well. But I'll tell you right now, Hibean Module from Will, I'm actually reconnected really fast. So that's another plus of having the original, or the Hibean unit from actual Hibean, is the reconnect's a lot faster than the community one, I think. I could be wrong. Okay, so we'll double check this one later. That sucks. Didn't do that great of a job getting the chaff out too. Still cooling off. Boo. All right, that sucked. Just when I thought I fixed it last night. I'll have to send it to the guy I'm sending it to. It failed another test. On the plus side, the Airwave looking pretty good. Not dying of cancer yet from all this. Ooh, man, that stuff got stuck on there. Yeah, whatever. Take one back. And this is why I usually try testing these all out before I send them out. Let me go right. Where's my little printer? You have this little printer that I'll write out the issues with it. We'll put this to the side. Chaff looks good. Tisk tisk. All right. Well, that's why we have another one. So now I gotta test it out for this guy. This one at least pulls out better. Let me grab this, this. Okay. Oh. This one I have to repair still. So let me, if I could really quick show you what the issue on this one is. They probably returned it because they heard like the drum was sounding like absolute shit. So if you look here, that shouldn't do that. See how much it wiggles? That shouldn't do that. It should be like this. I don't know if I could get a good thing, but I shouldn't really move too much. That was probably really poor. I don't want to put my finger in a hot roaster. But yeah, for this one, if you ever have a weird drum noise, especially when it's hotter temperatures, and it wiggles that much, that's a bad drum. Either a factory, they didn't tighten it, or the person opened it up and decided not to close it up. So where are all my screwdrivers? $11.28. Let's see if I can bust this out real quick. Nope, that's not it. All right, so we'll pop out this one. And I'll show you how to tighten your drum real quick. The 4 screws are at the side. This is just a faceplate to cover the ugly front. Functionally wise, doesn't really do much. Pop that out there. Then you got these 4 you gotta take out. It's too small. Where am I putting all my shit? I had this like all my tools in together, and then I left to Disneyland and leave them in here. I'm gonna take these ones off. I usually put the bean door in place because it kind of holds it for me. And I'll pop off the whole thing. See here. Slowly pull this out because you don't want to scrape out the wires at the side. And then let's just, for the sake of being good, I'm just gonna dump these. Ooh, damn, was almost fancy. Almost caught them all. So let's pull that a little bit, put this on top. All right, so inside there are 3, very loose screws. I'm just one size short. Let me see if it fell on the back. Oh, where are all my tools? It's usually right in front of here. It's a long one, so I usually don't like taking it out. I must have moved it when the 1 kilogram machine came. That's too big. That's tight. These are all tight. So it's the motor. Yeah. It's very wobbly. I'll pull this all out. Okay, this is all a drum play. I don't know if it's a whole assembly. Or that's just an ill fit on this one, but let's see. I'm gonna try putting it back. I think I already placed the drum. No, I didn't place the drum motor on this one yet. All right, still wiggly for me, So I'm thinking might be an assembly issue. Like a drum assembly. Oh man, you missed out, Repat. I just had a unit just turn off on me. I've been trying to solve it for the last 3 nights. And it has been a pain because it runs fine, and then probably when we hit first crack on that last roast, it just died. Yeah, I think in this one, I think it's just the whole drum assembly is fucked. So now I gotta find a drum assembly for this one. It's very wobbly. It shouldn't wobble like this. I guess I could like put a bearing support at the bottom, but still, it shouldn't wobble that much at all. Yeah, it's way too wobbly. All right, another dud. I do have some other units that have just been trashed, so I'm probably going to pull the bearing assembly out of that one, but I need to contact the manufacturer, and then they'll send me the part for it. Yeah, that's butchered. Just wobble, wobble, wobble. Dang, Washington, D.C. are all over the world. I went to Disneyland. I'm still feeling broke after that. Paid $5 for a churro. Time's at 42. Man, I gotta put this in the pile of broken shit again. Oh man, the graveyard's getting deep. All right, well. Ho, 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 ho. This one looks all messed up. Oh, and they opened it too. Wow. Ugh. Well, this looks great. It's already missing 2 side panel ones. Let's see if the drum's all messed up too. This one has a tighter drum. Oh, this whole panel, you can even screw it back. Give me, oh, that looks okay. I don't want to clean up this one. Ooh, it's still got juices on it. Oh, look at that. See, I wonder if this one works. No, they took the board out. Oh no, they tried taking the board out. Why is there spider webs on this? That was a prime example. Let me kind of show you the prime example of why you should clean your roaster. So my guess is they ran this like a production roaster. You got the ooey gooeys. And you got the never clean the back. That's why I always say clean the back once a week. And then they tried fixing it. They definitely opened it up. Look at that. I don't know how that happens. Probably roasting back to back to back. I didn't even see it inside the drum if they felt the pain of a thermal runaway. I have my work cut out for me. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think is the most broken roasters I've had in once. 7 or 9 over there. Ugh. Oh, this is gonna be turned into a job soon. A really zero paying job. All right. I'm gonna call it quits for right now. I'm gonna have to deal with all this later. I need to clean up the house and do father stuff, and then hopefully get a good roast later. I'm a little bummed out that other unit died. It looked good. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably have to replace the board, and I wonder if the power supply went out. I'll probably replace the board and the power supply. See how that goes. But yeah, that's about it for today. Today was, I'm gonna mark this as a failure day. We almost had a good roast, and then it died. So, and then we didn't have a good roast. But, yeah, the other one just has a really bad drum assembly. This one has a better drum assembly than that. I just have to clean this one up, put all the parts back in. Actually, it has a good case, so I can at least transfer it to one of my good roasters that got banged up. I have a few that are ugly, but work perfectly fine. I still got to fill out this order that the guy put in, because one of my roasters got lost. Now I'm feeling the brunt of that one. I don't think I added insurance on that one either, so it took like probably like $100 hit on that, but whatever. We're just doing this for fun, right? We'll have another one. Hopefully it works. Hopefully I can find this one guy a good one. Actually, that might be already set to go. Anyways, I got a bunch to fix, and I have limited time, so I'll let you guys know how it goes. I'm gonna start trying to make more of the videos that I do when I'm repairing, because it takes a little bit longer to set up the stream, and sometimes a little bit annoying. But just because I keep wanting to add stuff to it, it's mostly me. Anyways, thanks for joining. Sorry much didn't get done, but that's what we're here for, all the fun of having this roaster. Yeah. If you have any questions, you can always email me or find me on Discord. I know they're taking out chats off of the Facebook thing, but I'm not really on that Facebook page. There's a lot of people on there, like 4,000 people on the Facebook group. But you can message me on there too. I'm under Lloyd. I'm the only admin. Well, that and the other guy. Anyways, that was fun. Hopefully I don't break another one. See ya.